I just wanted to run through some of the materials I use before I get deeper into showing you some tutorials. I use this, tend to use watercolour. I'm going to use watercolours. I use this little Travel Cotman Winsor & Newton watercolour set. This is a brand new one, and I really like them because they've got this double palette. I can use them to take out with me, but I can also use them at home. So I really like the set, and I also like the fact that this one's got in the warm and cool primaries. So it's got lemon yellow, cadmium yellow, cadmium red. It's got a permanent rose, ultramarine, cerulean blue, viridian blue, sap green, yellow ochre, burnt sienna, ivory black, and a white. I don't really use the white, to be honest. I do use black, which is a little bit against convention. A lot of people avoid black, but I like using black. I also use a Payne's grey because I particularly like the colour. My preference would be for the cool primaries, and I would actually go for a magenta rather than the rose, but it does the job. It's impossible to mix this colour, so it's a really good idea to have that in your box. And the cerulean blue is very close to cyan, so again it's slightly lighter, I would say, but it's a good substitute. I always prefer to use the cool primaries when I'm painting because it gives you fresher colours. If I want to dull down the colour, or if I want to desaturate it, I can do that. I have the choice to do that, but I'd rather have fresh colours that I then can desaturate if I choose to. In terms of brushes, I have a variety of brushes. They are from all different makes. They're not particularly good brushes, actually. I tend to find that I go through them quite quickly, so I'm not too worried about them being very good brushes. These are actually made by a company called Specialist Crafts, who are an educational supplies company. And I tend to go for, I tend to use the largest brush that I can get away with, because I don't like to see brush strokes particularly, and I tend to like to flood the area with paint and water, so I tend to go for the largest brush. For fine detail I might use a smaller brush, but I try not to get too involved in fine detail. If I want fine detail, I'll probably use a pencil. These are Pitt oil-based pencils, and unlike graphite, they're not shiny, so they work really well for me. This one is an extra soft one. They do them in medium and soft as well, and probably in others, but I tend to use the either extra soft or the medium ones. And then I use, to do my sketching with, because I know I'm going to be painting over that, I tend to use HB or 2H pencils, which I sharpen with a craft knife. I try to avoid using a rubber, but I do have one. And pot of water. This is actually an old sugar pot, but you need copious quantities of water, and I probably would, even in a small watercolour, I probably would change my water halfway through, because if you've got muddy water, it's going to alter the colours that you're using. So vast quantities of water is always required to keep your brushes clean and things. For paper, this is a cartridge paper. It's a medium weight cartridge paper, 180 GSM. It's nice and thick, it's got a smooth texture. I don't particularly like using watercolour paper because I don't like the texture. If I'm painting something that's quite detailed, or that's got fine detail, like a fine beak or something like that, then I just find that the texture gets in my way, so I prefer not to use it.